Kia ora koutou. I've just set my class a worksheet on Dr. Frost that works through a whole lot of simplifying rational expressions. So I thought I'd do a video to go through that with you. So I'm going to start off with some really basic ones where the factorising has already been done for you, and we'll look at how we can simplify those ones. So if you're given an expression like this one, where you've already got the numerator and the denominator factorised, that means that we can see the common factors easily. Here we can see that we've got a common factor of t minus 2 here and here. So we can divide both the numerator and the denominator by t minus 2. And that leaves us with 6t minus 4 divided by 5. So that works in the same way that working with numbers in fractions works back in year 7, 8 and 9. If we've got 3 times 2 divided by 4 times 2, we learn pretty quickly that we can simplify that. Right? So if we start off with 6 over 8, we divide out the 2 and we divide out the 2, right? So we get 3/4. And that's what we're doing the whole way through these kinds of problems. In the next ones, they're going to slowly get more difficult until we've got quadratics in both the numerator and the denominator. But our basic rules of factorising apply just like they did back in year 9. So here, the first thing I'm going to check for is whether there's a common factor in the coefficients, in the numbers, and there is. The highest common factor here is 5, and then I'm going to check whether there's a common factor in the x term, and there's not. So with this one, in the numerator, the common factor is 5. 5 watts will give me 20x. Well, I need to have 4x. 5 watts will give me 5. 5 ones will give me 5. Right, in the denominator, same thing again. Check the numbers. The highest common factor is 2. And now check the x term, or the x part of the term. The highest common factor here is x to the power of 4. Right, now what will get me back to 8x to the power of 5? I need to times by 4 to match the 8, and I need to times by another x to match the x to the power of 5. And next up, 2x to the power of 4 times what will get me back to that? Well, it's going to be plus 1. A common factor is now really obvious. It's 4x plus 1 here and here. So my final answer is 5 over 2x to the power of 4. In number 3, the highest common factor in the coefficient is 5. I've got x squared here and x here, so it's going to be 5x times x minus 2, right? So each time what I'm doing is I'm checking back with the numbers and then with the x's. In the denominator, the highest common factor in the numbers will be 3, and in the x's it will be just x. I need to have 3x times x to get 3x squared minus 2. And you can see here we've got 2 common factors, right? We've got x minus 2 and we've got x divided by x. So my final answer is 5 over 3. Now we've got 2 that are quadratics that I'll do quickly before I finish off. You can probably hear Bonnie, my dog, squawking to come in at the door, but I'm just going to leave her outside till I'm done. So this one is very much 2 year 10 quadratics, right? We've got an x squared here, just a 1x squared. So in the numerator, we have x times x. The sign pattern will be a plus and a plus, and it's going to be plus 1 and plus 1. In the denominator, you should start to be looking for a common factor here, right? But this again is a really easy factorization. It's going to be x here and x here, plus 1 and plus 4. So my common factor is x plus 1 over x plus 1. So my final answer, written out nicely, is x plus 1 over x plus 4. Right, now with this one here, it's pretty easy to factorize this. That does give us a clue for what the common factor is in here, but I'm just going to do one example where I revise factorizing by grouping. So factorizing by grouping is a method we use when we've got a non-1 coefficient here, so a is not equal to 1, and also one where we don't have a common factor that we can take out in the numbers. So before you start launching into doing grouping, always check that there's no common factor between the 2, the 15 and the 25. Right, so off we go with grouping. We want 2 numbers that times together to give me 50 and 2 numbers that add together to give me 15. Those numbers are going to be 10 and 5, 10 and 5. And that means I can split the 15x up into the 10x and the 5x. Right, and if you can't remember this, go watch the video on grouping. Here we are, we've got 2x into x plus 5 plus factorising here plus 5 into x plus 5, which gives me 2x plus 5. Guys, I'm really sorry about the dog noises. She is getting extremely annoying about wanting to come into the kitchen. Right, so that's how we're going to factorise the numerator, and now we're ready to go with the denominator. So I'm just going to get rid of all of this. And get rid of this. Now we're ready to factorise. Now I'll start with the denominator, which was our nice easy one. We're going to have an x and an x, a plus and a minus, and I want to have plus 5 and minus 2. And then here I'll have 2x plus 5 times x plus 5. The common factor is the x plus 5. So my simplified fraction is this. So there you go. Now I've set you 50 questions like this because I want this to be completely easy and fluent. So please get going on them. I've set them for everyone I know is sitting the Algebra Derived Grade exam, which is most of you. Matthias, thanks for sending in the request for this revision, and please just keep on sending me more emails like that one.